Another captain is gone, claimed by the deadly Alaskan Sea. After 15 years of battling waves and enduring freezing storms, the sea has struck again in the world of. The icy waters, merciless as ever, have taken another seasoned captain who risked his life daily. The unforgiving Bering Sea, cold and cruel, spares no one. Tune in as the waves rise, the dangers escalate, and what happens next leaves everyone speechless. The Alaskan Sea, relentless force of nature, has once more claimed a life. For 15 years, captains and crews have braved its icy wrath, but the sea does not relent. It doesn't care if you're an experienced captain or a novice, it is equal parts beautiful and deadly. The harsh reality is that every wave is a challenge, every storm a test, and for some, the ultimate price is paid. This time, tragedy struck in the cruelest way, adding another name to the list of those lost to the relentless ocean. Imagine living every day knowing that a single misstep could end it all. That's the reality for the crews of. These fishermen face not only the brutal waves and piercing winds but also their own fears and limitations. For all the money and glory a successful crab haul promises, the cost often includes blood, sweat, tears, and sometimes lives. The show offers more than thrilling hunts, it unveils the raw humanity of these fishermen, individuals who choose to challenge the whims of a monstrous sea. The cold is unrelenting, the waves could snap steel, and the isolation wears on the soul. This isn't just television drama, it's a life-threatening gamble for crab, a prize as elusive as it is valuable. While portrays the struggle to fill crab pots and cover costs, there's so much more beneath those choppy waters. Behind the scenes, production crews endure the same perils as the fishermen. Filming in sudden storms or icy squalls is a nightmare of malfunctioning equipment, life-threatening accidents, and limited access to safety. Unlike the fishermen, who might see a share of the crab money, these crews risk their lives for the sake of reality TV. Their bravery ensures the world sees the raw, unvarnished truth of life on the Bering Sea. Life on the Bering Sea spares no one, seasoned captains, greenhorn deckhands, or camera crews. The unforgiving ocean doesn't discriminate, it devastates anyone who dares to venture into its grasp. Even Captain Sig Hansen, a veteran with decades of experience, hasn't escaped unscathed. Born into a lineage of Norwegian fishermen, Sig battles not only the sea but also the immense physical and mental toll it exacts. Despite heart attacks and stress, he continues to fight, driven by a mix of courage and obsession. Even celestial phenomena like the supermoon amplify the dangers. While most admire its beauty, fishermen curse its effects. The moon's pull intensifies tides, swelling waves into monstrous heights. It's a nightmare that reminds them of nature's power. The sea doesn't care about Instagram-worthy moments, it demands respect and caution, offering no mercy. Some captains face additional battles beyond the sea. Josh Harris struggled to step into his father Captain Phil Harris's shoes, facing immense pressure and public scrutiny. Elliot Neese, another skilled captain, succumbed to personal demons, illustrating the heavy toll this lifestyle can take. The isolation, stress, and danger often lead to spiraling struggles that are all too common in this harsh world. Crew members also carry the weight of loss and survival. Jake Anderson, who worked his way up to captain, endured personal tragedies, including his father's disappearance and sister's death. Despite the immense loss, he returns to the water, driven by purpose or perhaps something more enigmatic. The sea's pull is undeniable, even as it takes so much away. Tragedies like the sinking of the FV in 2017 highlight the relentless dangers. Severe icing caused the boat to tip, taking 6 crew members with it. These men, fathers and sons, perished doing what they loved, a stark reminder that the sea doesn't play favorites. It simply takes what it wants. Yet, amidst the hardship, rare moments of triumph keep them going. A pot brimming with crab brings cheers from a battered crew, offering fleeting joy amid relentless adversity. This camaraderie, forged through shared hardship, is unmatched. They fight the elements, their fears, and the clock, all for the chance to bring home the elusive prize. Beyond the sea, families live in constant worry, glued to their phones for updates. For every fisherman who says goodbye before a trip, there's a family bracing for the possibility it might be their last. It's a brutal reality, underscoring the high stakes of this life. Even those like Mandy Hansen, Sig's daughter, feel the sea's pull despite witnessing its toll firsthand. Following in her father's footsteps, she's learning the ropes, knowing full well the ocean's indifference. The sea doesn't care about her lineage or youth, it demands resilience and respect. The world of is one of extremes, victories, losses, and a ceaseless battle against an uncaring ocean. Each voyage into the Bering Sea is a leap into the unknown. For the crews, it's not just a job, it's a way of life, fraught with danger yet offering unparalleled freedom. The ocean is both beautiful and merciless, a force that tests their limits and defines their stories. Those moments, they are pure gold. They make the exhaustion worth it. They make the danger feel a little less suffocating. It's like a rush that nothing on land could ever compare to. But those moments are rare, and they are not guaranteed. The sea gives, but it takes so much more. Consider the story of the Cornelia Marie, one of the most iconic vessels in the fleet. After Captain Phil Harris passed, the boat struggled to find its footing. Josh Harris tried to step into his father's shoes, but those were big shoes to fill. The sea doesn't care about good intentions or legacies. It's unforgiving, and it tested Josh in every possible way. With the pressures of living up to his father's name, managing a crew, and dealing with personal demons, the weight was almost unbearable. And when past allegations resurfaced, it was like the sea itself decided to drown him in one final wave of misfortune. The Cornelia Marie, once led by a legend, now had a captain who was struggling to keep himself afloat, let alone his ship. Elliot Nys, another name that fans remember well. A captain with undeniable talent, but a troubled soul. His time on was marked by tension, arguments, and a downward spiral that was painful to watch. Substance abuse wasn't just a side story, it was a central part of his struggle. The isolation, the pressure, the constant need to prove himself, it all pushed him deeper into a dark place. Eventually, it caught up with him. Legal troubles, a stint in rehab, and ultimately being cut from the show. But even after all that, the sea called him back. After serving his time, Elliot returned to crab fishing. It's almost like no matter how many times the ocean tries to throw them off, these men keep coming back, battered but not broken. Jake Anderson's journey is another testament to resilience. He started as a greenhorn, the lowest rank, doing the dirtiest jobs. And he worked his way up. But the sea didn't give him any breaks. In 2010, his father disappeared. His truck was found abandoned, but there were no answers. Jake had to keep going, he had to keep working, even with that hole in his heart. And as if that wasn't enough, his sister passed away not long after. It's unimaginable, the weight he carried. Yet, he stayed. He worked his way up the Northwestern, and eventually, he became captain of the Saga. It's hard to understand what drives someone to keep going after so much loss. Maybe it's the need to prove that he could rise above it all. Maybe it's because the sea, with all its cruelty, was also the only place he felt close to those he had lost. The sea reminds them who's in charge, leaving its mark on those who dare. The sea doesn't care. It's not interested in how much experience a crew has, how many years a captain has under their belt, or whether someone is on TV or not. The tragedy of the FV Destination back in 2017 is the kind of brutal reminder no one likes, but everyone needs to hear. It's a classic case of nature saying, nope, not today, and taking everything despite the skill and caution of those aboard. 6 people, all professionals who knew what they were doing, were lost because the ocean decided it wanted to collect a debt that day. It's tough, it's heart-wrenching, but that's the reality of this life. If you've been watching for long enough, you'll see that the victories are great, but the sea is always waiting, ready to take back what's hers. No one knows this better than Sig Hansen. The guy has been at it forever, literally risking life and limb. In 2016, it wasn't the freezing waves or relentless storms that almost got him, it was his own heart, right there on the deck of his boat. A heart attack, in the middle of the ocean, caught on camera for the whole world to see. But Sig's not one to bow out. He came back, kept going like nothing happened, until 2019 rolled around, and it was another health scare. This time, it was an allergic reaction that almost took him out. And each time, he's gone back, like the guy's got some unfinished business out there. Maybe it's about the money. Maybe it's just that without that danger, without the chase, he wouldn't know who he is. Either way, his daughter Mandy is waiting in the wings, learning everything she can. She's ready to take over when her father can't do it anymore, but there's a sad truth to it: no amount of lessons can prepare her for what's out there. The Bering Sea isn't exactly interested in giving anyone an easy start. Mandy is stepping into a legacy that's got danger written all over it, and she knows it. But she's there anyway. And maybe that's the most remarkable thing, knowing what's out there and still deciding to face it head on. The Bering Sea is cruel. It's unpredictable. It doesn't care if you're a rookie, a veteran, or if your family's been doing this for generations. It's indifferent, a relentless force that'll take much more than it ever gives. The people who head out there know it could be their last trip, yet they go anyway. For the money, the thrill, or maybe because they just can't imagine doing anything else. Isn't just some reality TV show. It's a glimpse into a life where every single win is hard-earned, and every loss hits deep. It's not about the crab, not really. It's about the people, their stories, and the sea that seems to have a mind of its own. The money can be good, really good. Those captains on pull in some serious cash. Just from the fishing, a captain might earn between $150,000 and $200,000 a season. But here's the thing, that's not where the real money is. The TV show itself? That's where it's at. Captains can make between $25,000 and $50,000 per episode. It's this dual income that's let captains like S.I.G. Hansen and, Wild, Bill Wickrowski build up their fortunes. Hansen's estimated net worth? About $4 million. It's a good deal, but it's not something that just anyone can walk into. The deckhands, they're not making captain money, but it's still decent. A seasoned deckhand can pull in anywhere from $15,000 to $50,000 for a few months of grueling, freezing, dangerous work. Some of them get a cut of the catch, which means the harder they work, the more they earn. It's a decent setup if you don't mind the constant risk of death. Every day out there is a gamble, and the paycheck is never guaranteed. The money might be good, but it's never enough to completely outweigh the dangers. Lately, though, it's getting even tougher. Declining crab populations are making things a lot harder. Climate change, overfishing, the usual suspects, are causing quotas to drop, which means crews are working harder, traveling farther, and catching less. All this effort for a smaller payday. The captains and their crews are feeling the pressure, and there's no easy fix in sight. Even finding the crabs has become a challenge, with climate change shifting their migration patterns and making traditional methods unreliable. It's enough to make anyone rethink their options, and that's exactly what Jake Anderson did. He decided to invest in his own boat, the FV Saga. It's a big risk, but for him, it's about taking control of his future. The younger captains are trying to carve out their piece of the pie, but it's not easy with quotas shrinking and costs rising. Ownership means more money, sure, but it also means more stress, more responsibility, and, let's be honest, a bigger target on your back when things go wrong. And yet, they all keep coming back. Season after season, these captains and their crews return to face the sea. Why? Maybe because it's what they know. Maybe because there's something addicting about the danger, the thrill of the chase, or the satisfaction of a hard-earned catch. Whatever it is, it's clear that they're not ready to call it quits just yet. Fans of keep watching, drawn in by the intensity, the personal stories, and the sheer unpredictability of it all. But as the seasons wear on, one can't help but wonder how long it can go on like this. How long before the sea finally wins? How long before the risks outweigh the rewards for good? The captains have managed to diversify, branching out into product lines and appearances, but that's not an option for everyone, especially not for those just starting out. The show's future, like the future of the industry itself, is uncertain. And that's exactly what makes it so hard to look away. The sea has a way of calling people back, even after all the losses, all the heartbreak. The pull of the ocean is something deep, almost primal. It's not just about the money or the fame that comes from being on a hit TV show. It's about the challenge, the sense of purpose, the connection to something that's both beautiful and terrifying. For many of these captains, it's a family legacy, a tradition passed down through generations. There's pride in it, a sense of belonging that's hard to find anywhere else. Take Mandy Hansen, for example. She's stepping into but it's not without its costs. The toll it takes on their bodies, their minds, their relationships, it's significant. The health scares that SIG Hansen has faced are a stark reminder of that. The man has had multiple close calls, and yet he keeps coming back. It's not because he's reckless or doesn't care about his health. It's because, for him, the sea is a part of who he is. It's in his blood, and walking away from it would be like walking away from a part of himself. The same goes for Jake Anderson. He's faced his own share of struggles, both on and off the water. The decision to buy his own boat was a big one, and it came with a lot of risks. But for Jake, it was about taking control of his destiny. He's worked his way up from being a deckhand, learning from some of the best in the business, and now he's carving out his own path. It's not easy, and there are no guarantees, but that's the nature of the game. The sea doesn't offer any promises, and neither does the fishing industry. And then there's the impact of climate change. It's not something that can be ignored. The declining crab populations, the shifting migration patterns, it's all making an already tough job even tougher. The captains are having to adapt, to find new ways to stay profitable in an industry that's becoming more uncertain with each passing year. It's a constant struggle, and there's no easy answer. But if there's one thing that's clear, it's that these captains and their crews aren't going down without a fight. The future of Deadliest Catch is as unpredictable as the sea itself. The show has been a staple for years, drawing in viewers with its raw, unfiltered look at one of the most dangerous jobs in the world. But as the challenges mount, declining crab stocks, rising costs, increased regulations, one has to wonder how long it can continue. The captains are doing what they can to adapt, to find new ways to make it work, but the reality is that the industry is changing. And with that change comes uncertainty. Is the fight against nature and dwindling resources still worth the risk? Like, leave a comment, and subscribe to share your thoughts and keep the conversation going.